1 minute ago, the ground moved. It moved under Naples. Naples is a big city in Italy. 3 million people live there. And right now, something is wrong. Very wrong. The ground is rising. Steam shoots out of holes in the earth. The smell of sulfur fills the air. Scientists are watching. They look worried. This is not a normal volcano problem. This is something new, something scary. The mountain is not just waking up. It is splitting apart. Let me tell you about Campi Flegrei. It is a giant crater, a huge bowl in the ground. It sits right under Naples. Most people do not know it is there, but it is. And it is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in Europe, maybe the world. This volcano has erupted before, a long time ago, 39,000 years ago. That eruption was massive. It covered Europe in ash. It changed the climate. Some scientists think it nearly wiped out early humans, but then Campi Flegrei went quiet. For thousands of years, people forgot about it. They built a city on top. They built Naples. Now something is happening. The ground is moving up, rising. Scientists call this uplift. The ground has risen 16 centimeters in 3 years. That is a lot. Too much. Scientists use special tools to measure this. They use GPS stations. They use satellites. The satellites take pictures from space. These pictures show the ground moving. They show it in colors. Red means rising. Blue means sinking. Right now, the maps are very red. Dr. Maria Rossi works at the Volcano Observatory. She watches Campi Flegrei every day. She looks at the data. She sees the numbers climbing. "We are measuring centimeters per year now," she says. Much higher than before. Much higher than normal. The ground shakes too. Small earthquakes happen every day, sometimes dozens of them. People in Naples feel them. The dishes rattle. The windows shake. But here is the scary part. The ground is not just rising. It is rising fast, faster than scientists have ever seen. And the pattern is strange, very strange. "This is not normal volcano behavior," Dr. Rossi says. She points at her computer screen. The screen shows a map. The map shows the ground bulging up like a balloon filling with air. But what is filling the balloon? Magma, hot melted rock, deep underground. It pushes up from below. It pushes against the rock above. It pushes hard. For years, scientists thought they understood this. The magma rises, pressure builds. Eventually, the volcano erupts. Simple. But now they are not so sure. They see something else, something they did not expect. The uplift is too fast, too uneven. The pattern is wrong. Dr. Rossi pulls up another image. "Look at this," she says. The image shows cracks, lines in the rock. "The ground is not just rising," she says. "It is breaking." Breaking? Yes, breaking apart. The rock above the magma is like a roof, a ceiling. It holds everything down. But that roof is under pressure, enormous pressure, and now it is starting to crack. Uplift alone does not tell the full story, Dr. Rossi says. She looks worried, very worried. We need to understand what is happening to the structure, to the rock itself, because if that rock breaks, if that roof cracks open, everything changes. The volcano will not just erupt, it will collapse, and nobody knows what happens then. Let me explain how this works. Imagine a giant bowl. A bowl made of rock. This bowl is miles wide. It sits in the ground. That is a caldera. That is Campi Flegrei. Now imagine something under that bowl. A huge pool. A pool of melted rock. That is the magma chamber. It sits deep underground, 4 miles down. The rock between the pool and the surface is the roof. The caldera roof. It is thick, strong, but not unbreakable. When magma rises, it pushes up. It pushes against the roof. The roof bends, it stretches. The ground above rises. That is uplift. For a long time, scientists thought the roof was solid, one piece, strong enough to handle the pressure. But new studies show something different. The roof is not solid. It has cracks, weak spots, and the pressure is making them worse. Dr. James Chen studies how rocks break. He uses computer models. These models show stress, where the rock is under pressure, where it might fail. We run simulations, Dr. Chen says. We put in the uplift data. We put in the rock properties, then we see what happens. His screen shows a cross-section, a slice through the earth. The magma chamber glows orange, the roof above it is gray, but parts of the roof are red. Very red. Red means maximum stress, he says. These areas are close to breaking. The model shows lines, fractures. They run through the rock. Some are small, some are big, some connect to each other. The pattern tells us something important, Dr. Chen says. This is not just pressure building. The framework is fracturing. Other scientists are measuring this in the field. They drill into the rock. They take samples. They install special tools. These tools are called tilt meters. They measure tiny tilts, tiny angles. When the ground tilts, they know. Even 1 millimeter matters. There are also crack meters. These go across cracks in the rock. They measure if the crack is opening. Getting wider, Dr. Elena Vasquez leads the field team. She climbs around the volcanic area. She checks the instruments. She looks at the cracks. We are finding new fractures every week, she says. Small ones. But they are growing. She points at a crack in the rock. It is as wide as her finger. This was not here 6 months ago, she says. The team takes photographs. They measure everything. They come back every few days. The cracks are wider each time. Back in the lab, they compare the data, the uplift data, the crack data, the stress models. Everything matches. The roof is weakening. We are not seeing classic pressure buildup, Dr. Chen says. We are watching the structure fail. Slowly, but steadily. This is different from normal eruptions. In normal eruptions, pressure builds. The magma finds a weak spot. It breaks through, lava flows out, but when a roof cracks open, that is different. Very different. Think of it like this. Imagine a bottle of soda, shake it up. Pressure builds inside. Now imagine opening the cap slowly, the soda fizzes out. But what if the bottle breaks, not at the cap, at the side? Suddenly, all that pressure escapes at once. Boom! That is what scientists fear. Not a slow release, a sudden break. A rupture. If the roof cracks wide enough, Dr. Vasquez says, the whole system could fail. The magma could depressurize suddenly. That would be explosive, very explosive. The team looks at other volcanoes that had roof collapses. They study what happened. In some cases, the collapse was small, local. In other cases, it was catastrophic. They look at calderas in Yellowstone, at collapse events in Japan, at ancient eruptions in Europe. The pattern is clear. When the roof fails, bad things happen. Dr. Chen pulls up another simulation. This one shows what happens during a roof breach. The roof cracks, the crack widens, the pressure drops instantly, the magma explodes out. The moment of failure could come with almost no warning, he says, not from slow pressure, but from sudden rupture. And if that happens here, under Naples, everything changes. Let me show you what could happen. If the roof breaks, if that crack opens wide, scientists have run the numbers, they have made simulations, computer models. They show different scenarios. Scenario 1, a small crack opens, just a few meters wide. Gas escapes first, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, toxic gases. The gases would shoot into the air, a huge plume. People nearby would smell it. Then they would choke. Some would die quickly. Scenario 2. The crack opens wider. Now magma can escape, but not as lava. As an explosion, when the pressure drops suddenly, the magma explodes. It tears apart. It becomes ash, tiny pieces of rock, hot rock. This creates what scientists call a pyroclastic flow, a fast-moving cloud, a cloud of hot ash and gas. It races across the ground. Temperatures reach 400 degrees. Nothing survives. The simulation shows the cloud moving. It flows down valleys. It follows the shape of the land. It moves at 100 miles per hour. Parts of Naples would be in the path. Pozzuoli for sure. Bacoli, maybe more. Scenario 3. Multiple cracks open. The roof does not just crack, it collapses. Pieces fall into the magma chamber. This is the worst case. The absolute worst. When the roof falls in, it displaces magma, pushes it out. The eruption becomes huge. The simulation shows vents opening everywhere. Not just one spot, many spots, all erupting at once. Ash shoots miles into the sky. It blocks the sun. It falls like snow, but this snow is hot, sharp, heavy. Roofs collapse under the weight. Buildings crack. People who breathe it die. The simulation shows the ash cloud spreading. It covers Naples. Then it spreads across Italy, then Europe. Air traffic stops. Crops fail. Temperatures drop. Dr. Chen shows another image, a thermal map. This map shows heat. It comes from satellites. We are already seeing thermal anomalies, he says. The map shows red spots, hot spots, more than usual. The heat is increasing, he says, over weeks, over months. It is not stopping. Gas measurements also show changes, more sulfur dioxide, more carbon dioxide. The gases are increasing. Time-lapse videos show the changes day by day, week by week. The hot spots grow, the gas levels rise. Scientists compare this to past collapses, other volcanoes, other calderas. They look at Mount Mazama in Oregon. It collapsed 7,700 years ago. It created Crater Lake. The eruption was massive. Ash covered the western United States. They look at Santorini in Greece. It collapsed 3,600 years ago. The eruption destroyed an entire civilization. The Minoans, they look at smaller events too, recent ones. Collapses that killed hundreds, not millions, but still terrible. The historical record is clear, Dr. Rossi says. Caldera collapse is rare. But when it happens, it is devastating. Now the question is timing. When will the roof break? That is the problem. Nobody knows. The roof could hold for years, decades, centuries even. Or it could break tomorrow, today, right now. The moment of failure could come with nearly zero warning, Dr. Chen says. The crack could widen suddenly, without any signal. Seismographs might not catch it. The rupture could be too fast. By the time instruments detect it, it is too late. We would have hours, Dr. Rossi says. Maybe minutes. Maybe no time at all. And it is not just the volcano that would pay the price. The city above would too. The people, 3 million people, living on top of a cracking roof. Maria lives in Pozzuoli, a town right in the Caldera, right on top of the danger zone. She is a school teacher. She has lived here all her life. I feel the earthquakes every day, she says. Small ones. They shake my apartment. The pictures on the wall move. She shows me a crack in her wall. It runs from floor to ceiling. This appeared last year, she says. It gets a little bigger every month. Maria is not alone. Thousands of people live in the red zone, the high-risk area. They know about the volcano. They know it is dangerous. But this is their home. Their families have lived here for generations. Paolo runs a restaurant. His family has owned it for 50 years. Where would I go? He asks. This is my life. But he is worried. Everyone is worried. At night, people hear rumbling, deep rumbling, like thunder underground. Sometimes the earthquakes are stronger, strong enough to knock things over, strong enough to crack roads. Emergency officials have plans, evacuation plans. They have mapped the risk zones. Red zones are the most dangerous. These areas could be destroyed quickly. Yellow zones are less dangerous, but still at risk. The officials have designated evacuation routes, roads out of the city, meeting points, shelters. But there is a problem, a big problem. 3 million people. How do you evacuate 3 million people? Quickly? It would be chaos, says Antonio. He is an emergency planner. The roads would jam immediately. People would panic. They have run drills, practice evacuations, but only small ones. A few hundred people. A real evacuation would be different. Much different. In a control room downtown, scientists watch screens, dozens of screens. Each shows different data. Seismographs draw lines, squiggly lines. Each line is an earthquake. Right now, the lines are active, very active. Tilt meters send data every second. They show the ground tilting, millimeter by millimeter. Gas sensors measure air quality, sulfur dioxide levels, carbon dioxide levels. These levels spike sometimes. When they spike, alarms go off. Red lights flash. Scientists rush to check. Dr. Rossi sits at the main console. She watches everything. She has been here for 12 hours straight. We cannot afford to miss anything, she says. Suddenly, A screen flashes. Red! An alarm beeps. Dr. Rossi leans forward. Tilt anomaly, she says. Sector 4. Another scientist pulls up more data. Confirmed, he says. Sudden tilt increase. 0.3 millimeters. They watch. They wait. More data comes in. The tilt stabilizes. The alarm stops. False alarm? Maybe. That could have been it, Dr. Rossi says quietly. That could have been the start. She looks tired, scared. If the roof breaks overnight, she says, we might only have hours to warn people. Maybe less. Hours to evacuate 3 million people. Impossible. Back in Pozzuoli, Maria makes dinner. Her children do homework. Life goes on, but she keeps her phone close. She checks it often, waiting for an alert. The alert that might come. The alert that says, run. Paolo closes his restaurant for the night. He locks the door. He looks at the ground. It shifted today. He felt it. He wonders if tomorrow will come, if his restaurant will still be here, if he will still be here. The people of Naples live with this fear. Every day, every night, they live on top of a bomb with a cracking lid, and nobody knows when it will go off. So what can we do? Can we stop this? No, we cannot stop a volcano, but we can prepare, we can watch, we can warn. Dr. Rossi and her team work every day. They monitor every signal, every tremor, every tilt, every gas spike. Our job is to see it coming, she says, to give people time, as much time as possible. They are adding more sensors, more seismographs, more tilt meters, more gas detectors. They want sensors everywhere, all over the Caldera, so nothing is missed. They are also improving their models, making them better. More accurate, Dr. Chen works on the computer simulations. We need to understand every possible scenario, he says, so we know what to look for, so we can predict better. But prediction is hard, very hard. Volcanoes are complicated. Each one is different. Each one behaves differently. Campi Flegrei is especially difficult because it is a caldera, because the roof is cracking, because nobody has seen this exact situation before. We are learning as we go, Dr. Rossi admits. We do not have all the answers. We are figuring it out. The Italian government is involved now. They take the threat seriously. They fund more research. They improve evacuation plans. They run more drills. They have built early warning systems, systems that can send alerts to phones, to TVs, to radios. If something happens, everyone will know, fast. But warnings only work if people listen, if they act, if they leave. Emergency planners are working on this. They educate people. They explain the risks. They show the evacuation routes. They want everyone to have a plan, a family plan, where to go, how to get there. Maria has a plan. She has a bag packed, documents, water, medicine. If the alert comes, we grab the bag and go, she says. We do not wait. Paolo has a plan too. Family first, he says. The restaurant can wait. I can rebuild, but I cannot replace my family. This is what living with a volcano means. Always ready, always watching, always a little scared. But there is also hope. The monitoring works. Scientists caught the changes. They saw the cracks forming. They are tracking everything. If the roof does break, they will see it. They will sound the alarm. And people will have time. Maybe not much, but some. And time saves lives. Scientists around the world are watching too. They want to learn because Campi Flegrei is not the only dangerous caldera. Yellowstone in America, Taupo in New Zealand, Toba in Indonesia. All of these have magma chambers. All could erupt. All could collapse. What we learn here helps everywhere. Dr. Chen thinks about the future. This volcano teaches us something, he says. It teaches us about living on a living planet. The Earth is not still. It moves. It shifts. It erupts. We build cities on top. We live our lives. We forget what is underneath. But the planet remembers. It always remembers. Campi Flegrei refuses to sleep, Dr. Rossi says, not because it wants to, but because it cannot. The pressure is there. The magma is there. The cracks are forming. We cannot change that. We can only watch and prepare and hope. The sun sets over Naples. The city lights turn on. Life continues, but underneath the mountain stirs, the roof creaks, the cracks widen. One day, something will break, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 100 years, but it will break, and when it does, we need to be ready. For now, scientists watch, they measure, they calculate, they warn, and the people of Naples live. They love, they work, they raise families. On top of a cracking roof, this is our fragile planet, this is our fragile life. We do not control the earth, we never did, we never will, but we can respect it, we can listen to it, we can prepare for it. That is all we can do. Watch, wait, and be ready.